TV. What's going on, guys? Max here.
And C-Bomb.
Max and C-Bomb coming at you with another episode of New Breed TV. Coming at you from the Fear Factorium, Australia's #1 Fear Factory museum.
Check it out on Instagram.
Yeah, check us out on Instagram. So coming up in this episode, we're celebrating 20 years of Digimortal, C-Bomb. 20 years!
Holy cow.
Holy shit. Doesn't seem like 20 years, does it?
20 years has gone quick.
It has.
Hard to believe 2001 was that long ago.
2001, bloody hell. So in this episode, we're going to have a look at what we're repping. C-Bomb's got some Digimortal shirts that he's brought along from his extensive Fear Factory shirt collection.
Hell yeah. And we are also going to have a good look at the Digimortal shelf here at the Factorium. All the cool pieces that Max got collected here.
Yeah, we've got some pretty cool pieces on the Digimortal shelf. We'll have a look at that. We're also going to have a chat to Dino as well. Catch up and just have a chat about 20 years of Digimortal, man. It should be good.
Awesome. And then we will actually do a deep dive into the artwork for Digimortal. Exclusively acquired.
Yeah, I can't wait for this one. Exclusively acquired. So Dino's hooked us up, and he's given us the Digimortal artwork, and we're actually going to have a look at it layer by layer and see exactly how the Digimortal artwork was made with all the different layers. So we're going to have a look at that in Photoshop.
Very damn cool.
And yeah, it should be an exciting episode. So C-Bomb, what's your sort of first memories of Digimortal 20 years ago?
Yeah, well, so I can remember it pretty vividly. I knew the album was coming out, was following the updates that they were posting on their website leading up.
I
remember hearing...
Were you an internet kid back then?
Yeah, with that. So 2001, we had internet at school, and I was finishing high school that year. So following that I remember at that time the website still had the sort of obsolete graphics and stuff to it. But yeah, you could get like clips of stuff, and they were just talking about being in the studio. But yeah, so all hyped up for the album to come out around April of that year.
Yep.
I actually remember a mate of mine driving us to go get it after school the week it came out. I had to drive into the city and go to Veranda Music there to buy it, to get the Digipack edition. I was like there when they opened up just to get it.
You bought the Digipack?
Yep.
Straight up?
Yeah, went for the Digipack. I remember when I walked into the store, the guy that ran that store at the time had it playing, and he was saying how he thought all the bonus tracks were the best tracks on the album, and if you didn't buy the Digipack, you were going to be missing out. So I was like, all right, I'll definitely get the Digipack.
That's sick. That's a good sales tactic.
Yeah, he was all over them. And so yeah, got that and rocked that out that year, and that was sort of all in the lead up. I got into Fear Factory hearing them on the Mortal Kombat soundtrack, and like got into Obsolete when that came out, but I would have been 14 when Obsolete came out. Wow. And so I didn't actually get to catch that tour. I just wasn't.
You just weren't old enough.
Yeah, I don't know if I would have got in if it was an all-ages gig or not, but I don't think I even realised the tour had happened until it had happened that year, and I probably would have been heaps keen, but I just didn't really start seeing live music until the year after. But anyway, so yeah, got to gear up for that being the first proper Fear Factory tour that I'd get to see at the end of that year, which was a nice way to cap off the end of high school. Yeah, awesome. Yeah, I think I was about 16 at the time as well, and in 2001 when it came out, and I remember going down to the local record store and I actually bought the Digipack as well. Like, I seen the Digipack and then like the normal, album version, and I remember there was posters up in the CD shop. Posters.
There was just posters like Digimortal everywhere, and I was just like, yes. Because I was right into the manufacturing Obsolete at that time, and for the new album to come out, like that was my peak year at high school, I guess. Like my most musical influential time, I guess you'd say.
That's it.
So yeah, I remember buying the Digipack, going home, throwing in the CD player, and then like what will become like become, and I was just like, yes. was like, this is sick.
Fan for life.
I just loved it straight away, man. And then, like, you know, as I was going through the songs, I think, like, my cousin came over and we were having, like, I think it was like a Friday night, and we were having drinks and, like, getting ready to go out, and we were just like, yeah, we were just loving it. And then
happy days.
all the bonus tracks come on, and, like, they were sick as well. And yeah, like, yeah, just I loved it, man, when it came out. Absolutely loved it.
Yeah, definitely. You know, back then, new album launches, it was a big deal in the actual shops. There was usually for the for the bigger bands, it was a real event to actually, like, rock up and buy the album.
Yeah,
it was just heaps more of a physical thing to go and buy.
Exactly. It was a lot more of a physical thing. Like, you'd actually walk into the record store and it was like Digimortal Day. Like, there was posters everywhere. They were playing it on the CD player. There was other people in there, like, buying it, and you'd have a chat about it. And it was just a completely different experience, I guess, to when an album drops now. It's online Spotify.
Yeah.
And there's a bit of a pre-sale or whatever.
Good chance you can hear it before you can hold it these days.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. Hear it before you hold it.
That's it. But yeah, that was a great time. I actually got to see and meet the band on that tour as well. Yeah. We'll show a bit more about that maybe later in the ep. But yeah.
So me and C-Bomb went to the same gig, which was that was like my first metal gig ever, was seeing Fear Factory at the Thebby.
Sick.
So we drove down to Adelaide for it, and I remember just, like, at that time, Fear Factory was like it for me.
Yeah.
And so seeing them live for the first time was just
mind-blowing.
Yeah, it was mind-blowing, and it was just like, you know, they were probably at the peak, the absolute peak of their career at that time. They were so big. Thebby was, like, sold out. I think it was sold out.
That gig was packed up.
And it was just, I just couldn't believe, like, seeing them for the first time. I was just like, wow. And yeah, it was incredible. It was incredible.
Yeah. Good times.
Good times. So anyway, let's get into the rest of the episode and check out what we're repping.
All right, well, what are you repping, Max?
What am I repping, C-Bomb? Now, check this out, guys. This isn't Digimortal related, but this is the 30 Years of Fear shirt that C-Bomb actually designed for Fear Factory himself. So, big round of applause to C-Bomb on that. He's done an excellent job. So, have a look at the back here. We can see the 30 Years of Fear on the back there. Now, this has got all of the album covers, all in the text there. And then on the front, we've got the circular logo, Fear Factory, established 1990, with the original Soul of the New Machine logo there. So, C-Bomb, how did you go about designing that bad boy?
Well, we started off just wanting to do a graphic that was going to be used on the Facebook pages and stuff. It was just going to be a banner for the group and things like that. And I was just, working on trying to come up with something that would just, put all the legacy of the band into one image.
Yep.
And then, that's basically what it sort of sketched out, a few drafts, and had Max help me, like, fine tune it over a bit of time just to get the collage looking nice and balanced, and got to the end result, which I thought came up all right. It
did come up all right. So you've done the horizontal version, but you've also done the vertical version for the back of the shirt. And the horizontal version is actually the cover photo for the Fear Factory Facebook page.
Yeah.
As well. So good job on that, C-Bomb.
Pretty cool little thing to get done.
For sure, man. So, getting to Digimortal, what are you repping, man? The OG Digimortal shirt.
That's right, yeah. So we've got an original Blue Grape Digimortal t-shirt from the day. So you've got your classic album artwork on the front, and on the back we will see the 4 faces done of the Digimortal style.
Yeah, have a look at that. Beautiful.
I always thought that was a really cool, like, graphic that they came up with for this album, was the heads with the sort of bionic and skull kind of parts showing up through it.
Yeah.
Pretty damn cool.
Yeah, absolutely. C-Bomb, that shirt is looking fresh.
Yeah, this one's in pretty unworn condition for its age. This one's nice and schmick. I did not buy this from back in the day. When they toured, I did actually buy one of my first pieces of merch stuff ever was the maroon Fear Factory long sleeve with the sort of sharp FF logo. If you've seen it, we might be able to get some graphics up of that. But
Yep.
don't know what happened to it, but it was like I wanted a long sleeve heaps badly, and that was the only thing you could buy at the time, so I grabbed it at that time. That was all I could afford, but at some point I would have acquired this off of eBay in good condition. But what I've also got with me is another one of them, which is the same basic shirt, but this one is signed by 3 of the 4 original lineup. Unfortunately, it's not signed by Raymond, but we've got the other 3 on it, and yeah, you'll probably get a closer look at it when we fly over.
Whoa.
Actually, I better just talk into the mic. But yeah, so we've got the 4 faces on the back, each one signed except for Raymond.
Oh yeah.
And this one I picked up on the eBay as well. I did not get this signed myself. This was sold together with the other shirt I have with me. So that's that one, and then we've also got a shirt for Back the Fuck Up.
Oh, this is a rare one. Check
Bit
this
of a rare
out.
one. So we've got the cool FF logo on the front.
Yeah, that's a sick logo.
And that's got all the signatures, including Raymond. So this one did get signed by Ray as well.
Yep.
And
Nice.
then
Did you get that signed?
No. So I bought this together with the other Digimortal shirt. They were all
yeah.
just signed pieces being sold off at the same time. So I snapped them up.
Cool.
And you've got your Back the Fuck Up text on the back, which is all sort of metallic-y silver.
Oh yeah.
Same with the FF logo on the front. We'll get some better shots, you'll see.
That is nice.
And yeah, that one's in pretty unworn condition too.
Oh man, that is in new condition. Have a look at that. Wow.
So that's those ones.
Nice.
Signatures. And
Nice.
then the last one I'll show here, which was one I just picked up. I was sort of telling Max about it just when I dropped in, and how I'd kind of been trying to find one, and I'd found one on eBay, but the guy that was selling it just refused to ship it out of the US. I kept pestering him like, come on man, I'll pay whatever postage it's going to cost, just send it to me. But he just wouldn't relinquish it. And then I just randomly found the shirt listed on some international merch website that had it just listed there as dead stock, new condition, and it was just sold at retail price. And
Wow.
yeah, it's in basically completely new condition.
Well, let's have a look at it.
Camo shirt, nothing on the back,
Wow.
but it's got a really cool Fear Factory Digimortal text logo on the front that's sort of done all in a metallic silver kind of
Oh
print.
yeah. Wow, have a look at that. So is this brand new?
I mean, it feels unworn near enough for a 20-year-old.
It doesn't look
piece
like
of
it's
merch.
been washed or anything.
Yeah.
Camo, that is sick. Nice. Good shit, man.
So that's all I've got for Digimortal shirts.
There we go.
Cheers for checking them out.
Oh, that's cool, man. Nice little collection. C-Bomb's got probably the biggest Fear Factory shirt collection I've ever seen. You can check him. Actually, C-Bomb, you've got a T-shirt Slayer page.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can maybe send a link,
pump
put
that.
a link up. But yeah, I've got a list of all my merch on tshirtslayer.com, which, yeah, most of it's Fear Factory and a lot of Meshuggah and Strapping Young Lad. But yeah, that's all on the T-Shirt Slayer website. I can put a link up.
Yeah, we'll
Check it out.
we'll chuck a link in the description so you can check out C-Bomb's T-Shirt Slayer site. That's awesome, man. Good shit. All right, well, it's time to have a look at the Digimortal shelf here in the Fear Factorium. So check that out. All right, so there you have it. A look at the Digimortal shelf. Got a few little treasures in there, C-Bomb.
So many rarities and collectibles.
Yeah, got a few good ones in there. Now, I just want to have a chat about some of my favourites from that. So one of my favourites would probably be the Digimortal bag that the CD would have came in at the record store. So you would have walked in and you would have bought it and you would have went, oh, thanks, man. And then you would have gone home and you would have taken it out and just been like, yes. And then you probably would have just chucked it in the bin. So to actually have one of these,
track down the bag. I actually remember hearing that.
Special.
You tracked down that bag.
I did.
You thought you'd got it.
I did.
And it was through this website.
I did. I did find it years ago and I bought it, but it never rocked up in the mail. And then I thought I'd never get one again. But then I did find one and then I bought it and then it actually rocked up. So I'm real happy about that.
Nice.
Another one of my favourites is the sealed...
Still sealed with the hype sticker.
Yeah, the sealed Digimortal Digipack in brand new condition with the hype sticker on the front. I absolutely love that.
That hype sticker is wicked.
Yeah, pretty rare, that one. Also got like a Fear Factory pendant.
Very nice.
Now, I've never seen this before anywhere, but I bought it off eBay. It popped up and I snagged it real quick. That's pretty cool. And then a couple of pieces I actually bought from Christian. The Digimortal, I think this is both of these are the Digipack from Soul 7 Recording and the other one from Sterling Sound. Now I think these are like from when they got them mixed, or these are these were the masters, or these are the copies that they'd send back and forth to, approve different mixes and all that sort of stuff. So these two are very rare. These two are very rare. I think they're probably the only ones, I'd say.
One of ones, yeah.
Yeah, I'd say. So yeah, some of my favourites from the Digimortal shelf there. So coming up now, we're going to have a chat to Dino about Digimortal. So check that out. All right, new breeders, we are here with Mr. Dino Cazares. It's been 20 years since Digimortal come out, so we're going to talk about 20 years of Digimortal. Dino, welcome to New Breed TV once again, mate.
Thank you guys very much for having me. I'm very glad to be a part of this.
Excellent, awesome. So, Dino, me and C-Bomb got a few questions for you today about Digimortal. C-Bomb, let's get into it.
The classic Digimortal, yes. A lot of things happen on that record, so...
Yeah. All right, let's get into it. So, can you believe that it's been 20 years since Digimortal? Can you believe it's been 20 years?
It seemed to go by quite fast, and it just kind of creeped up on us. I didn't realize it was that long until somebody brought it up to my attention. I'm like, oh my God, 20 years. So I kind of released the classic Digimortal t-shirt, which of course you guys, C-Bomb has to approve. So we released a shirt in anniversary of that, even though the anniversary is April 24th, I believe, right? Is that correct?
Yep, sure is. Yeah. Yep, April 24th.
So we released the shirt a couple of weeks early so that way people can get into it.
Oh, good.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's talk a little bit about the concept of Digimortal when you guys recorded it. So you guys around the time were talking about digital mortality, is that right?
Digital mortality, correct. Transferring basically human thoughts, memories, and transferring them into, an automaton that looks like a human, obviously, right? But you wanted to give that automaton some memories and a longer, and it'd be like translating your soul into an automaton so that technically you as a human could live longer in this robot.
Yeah. So is it kind of talking about is your memory, like the memories that you have, if that got transferred in, would that then become you? And would that then
that was the theory. That was the theory of having a longer life. Basically, if I, obviously, if you're getting old and you want to live in a younger body or a younger type of, form of a body, transferring basically your mind and your soul into that body, and basically you're looking at yourself as something new,
Yeah.
right? But you have your memories and your thoughts and everything that you went through when you were a kid to now, and you could live forever, and you could just keep doing that. That was the theory behind the record.
Yeah, awesome. Kind of reminds me of the movie. Did you ever see The Sixth Day with Arnold Schwarzenegger? Did you see that?
No, I didn't see that one. It kind of reminds me of a little bit of, if you want to go back even further, is Blade Runner, which the new model, which was the Sean Young, she was a new model, and the theory was that it was a better model. Yeah, because it had memories, and she really thought she was human.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
So that's a technology concept that's still they're still trying to figure it out. They're still trying to work on the idea of being able to digitize someone's consciousness.
Yeah. There was another movie like that too. It was called Replicas.
Oh, with Keanu Reeves.
It wasn't the best movie. It wasn't the best movie,
started.
But it still had some cool elements to it, you know?
Yeah, that was a terrible. The concept, because I started watching it, and I was like, oh, I like this. I really like the sound of this movie because it's sci-fi and it's like, it's Digimortal-y. And then I started watching it and it just fell apart so quickly. I don't think I finished watching it, but you did.
Yeah, I ended up going all the way through it. It turned out to be a love movie, of course, right? But the movie that I really liked, it's kind of Digimortal-y, probably is probably Upgrade. If you ever saw the movie called Upgrade.
Yep.
I know you saw it. Yeah.
Great
that
movie,
was a really good one.
It was
controlled
a good movie.
by iOS software. It was being controlled.
Yep.
And that was a really cool one. Your human body was being controlled like that. Yeah.
Yeah. And he's kind of like he had like the voice in his head, and he's like, would you like me to take over the situation, when he was getting beaten on? And he's like, and he had to give access to the program that was in his head. And then as soon as he gave it access, he just turned into this like, this kick-ass like machine that just like killed everyone.
Yeah,
and then
exactly.
It sort of goes along, and then there's a good twist in that one. I remember, good twist.
Yeah, it also reminded me of a little bit of the movie called Limitless.
Limitless.
That one was more with a drug. You take a drug, it opens up more of your mind, and you're able to figure out things very quickly. Where this one was an iOS device that, if you wanted to learn how to speak Japanese, in a matter of seconds, you can learn. You know how to speak Japanese.
Like
through an iOS device.
Like a Matrix download.
Kind of, yeah.
Awesome. So what are some of the highlights from the Digimortal era? Like, what are some of the highlights? I know like Linchpin was a big song at the time, and Digimortal was like did pretty well in the charts.
Both those songs did really well in the charts. Obviously, Linchpin is our most downloaded song. A lot of people don't know, but Linchpin is the most streamed and most downloaded song that we have in our career as Fear Factory, right? And
it's number one on Spotify.
Yeah, number one on Spotify because they put it on a lot of different playlists, and it really got a lot of traction. It really got a lot of it just got a lot of streams, man. People really like that song. I think it's just it's one of those songs that branches out to more than just the average, metal listener.
It's a gateway track. I think you can get people that might not have been metal fans would start something with that kind of track. They can get going on it.
Correct.
Yeah, I know. I know people that don't even listen to metal that just love Linchpin. They love it.
We recorded the album here in a studio that was owned by the keyboard player who did the Michael Jackson record, the biggest record that he did.
Wow.
Which was Thriller. There you go, Thriller.
Yeah.
He is the keyboard player from Thriller, and I can't recall his name right now, but he owned the studio where we recorded at, and he was there. He was hanging out. He was hanging out. Yeah.
Wow. Awesome. So how did the we've seen a bit of the recording process on digital connectivity when that came out. But what was it like recording the Digimortal songs as opposed to when you guys did Obsolete, moving into
I'm sorry.
Digimortal?
I'm sorry. Hold on. I made a mistake. We mixed at that guy's place. We didn't record there. We mixed there. So there's a big
Gotcha.
difference. Yeah, we recorded
Gotcha.
at a studio here in Burbank, close to my house, not too far. We tracked it there. And it was really cool because, you know, we had different guys coming over into the studio. Pauly Shore was there. B Real from Cypress Hill was there, of course. But one of the cool things was we had the singer, I think it was the guitar player of Yes, do background vocals. So when you hear like the chorus in the song Digimortal, one step closer. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Those were so high that guy did a guide track for Bert to follow because they were so high.
Right.
Oh, right. There you go.
Never knew.
So one step. I believe he's credited on the record.
Yeah. Okay. We'll have to. Yeah.
Definitely some high notes on that chorus.
Yeah. There's a lot of what are they called? Like not melodies, but like vocal harmonies.
Harmony.
There's a few vocal harmonies on that track.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you remember? Because this would have been the first album you did with Line 6 pods or pods of some kind, I assume.
Yeah, it was a Line 6 head. It's called the Flex Tone HD head. Actually, it's right here. Believe it or not, it's right next to me. I can pan it to the actual line. Let me see.
Wow.
See the line.
So was that
that's the
different?
One, but it used to say Line 6 right here, but it fell off.
Okay.
So there you go.
Wow.
That's the actual one I recorded Digimortal with.
There you go.
Wow.
Yeah.
There
I still
you
have
go.
the settings for it and everything still in there.
Was
Presets.
it a change? Did you find that different compared to using tube amps?
Yeah, a much difference. I mean, it's a solid state amp, and one of the cool things about it was that it responded really well with my fast picking, and that was really what I was looking for. Because I tried a bunch of other amps and I tried a bunch of other things, and it just wasn't. Something that I don't know. You know, I tried the Mesa Boogie. It was really flubby, really low indie. And I tried a few other amps. It just didn't work out. But when I plugged it into that one, it was like, holy shit. So I really loved it. So automatically I called up the record company and said, hey, I need one of these. And so they gave me one, and I just, boom, that was it. You can actually see it in the digital connectivity, or like there's been some photos released where you can kind of like see a photo of me, and then you see like the background with the amps and stuff like that. I had a Marshall JCM 800, but that wasn't the modified demanufactured head. Right. That was a completely different head. But right underneath that, you could see this line 6 flex tone head. You could see that underneath the Marshall, and that's what I was using.
Did that help? Did that help give the album a bit more of like? I remember Burton was saying you guys wanted it to sound more like a soundtrack, like that soundtrack vibe with a solid state amp rather than a tube amp.
No, I don't think that's why. That's why I chose. I don't think he knows really why I chose that amp, but it gave him more of a digital sound, really.
Yeah,
It was the first time. It was only 16-bit. It was only 16-bit sample rate, 8-bit and 16-bit. So this wasn't really the highest sample rate for tones back then. So it still has a little bit of that, I guess, digital vibe, solid state tone. But
it works. The sound of the album for sure.
But yeah, definitely, because the tone of the album sounds different. You know what I mean? And so I used the Marshall cabinet just to kind of give it more of a natural air. You know, coming from the speakers, you got that natural oomph sound.
So you guys mic'd up. You still mic'd up the cabinet. You didn't go in digitally.
No. So even though it does have a little bit of a digital sound, we still mic'd up the cab just to give it more of a natural tone. So it's a combination of both, really.
Yeah.
Obviously, sampling rates on those profiles nowadays are much higher, 24-bit, you know, and so on. So they're a lot higher sample bit rates, so you're able to get a better replication of the actual real amplifier. You know what I mean?
Because that's what you use now. What do you use now?
I use a Kemper. It was just right above
Kemper.
the thing I just showed you, the
Yeah,
flex on I just showed you.
Did you have you modeled the Line 6 into the Kemper yet?
No, but I'm going to. I did.
Yeah.
I did my Veta ones. My Line 6 Veta 2 is what I used on Mechanize. And so going through a cabinet as well. But obviously the sample rate's much better, so it sounds like a real amp, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I profiled those tones on my Kemper.
So
I have that. Yeah.
Nice.
Cool.
And
cool.
also on the Industrialist as well, that is the Veta 2 head, Line 6 Veta 2 head going direct with no cabs, going direct into the board. But on the new one, we ended up using my Marshall. We reamped the guitar tones. We reamped the guitars on the Industrialist with my Marshall JSM 800 modified Marshall, modified by Mike Fortin with my tubes, with my little preamp. Sorry, keep saying that. Overdrive pedal, which I have over here.
Yeah, give us a look at that.
Can you grab that for me? Thank you. I got my nephew here. He's going to grab it for me.
Have a look at that bad boy. Now this only came out a couple of about a month, 2 months ago.
Something like, not that one. No, my DC pedal. It's not there. There you go.
Cameras.
Here it is, mate. Here it is.
Hey, there it is. The Dino Cazares Overdrive Protone pedal.
So this is what I used with my Marshall JCM 800, modified by Mike Fortin. I use this for the new album and also for the re-industrialized version of the Industrialist.
Pretty damn keen to hear that.
Nice.
Yeah, so it came out really good. Came out much thicker tone, less digitally. But anyways, going back to
now, it's pretty awesome.
Anyways, going back to Digimortal, so I ended up using the Line 6 with the Marshall cabinet with my Ibanez baritone 7-string guitar.
Yeah.
Awesome.
There we go.
Well, I was going to ask, so do you remember shooting the video for Lynchpin? Do you remember sort of having much to do with what they decided that video would look like and how that all played?
Well, we ended up shooting a video here in North Hollywood, and it was completely different than what it turned out to be. The other version was kind of very artsy, and it didn't capture the spirit of the video at all whatsoever. And I believe that Burton had a lot to do with that video, the original video. I don't know if anybody has a copy. I could try to find a copy, but it's completely different. It would be interesting to see, what it was before till it turned out to what it is now. So I called up another guy that I knew that edited videos and stuff like that, and I said, "Hey, look, it's got to be more exciting. We shot all this live footage of the band. You can use that, but you need to add other elements." And so I was suggesting that in the intro, when the riff comes in, you hear the kick come in, that he get a machine that followed the rhythm. Right?
Yeah.
And that was where that idea came from. And then it just then he ended up putting all the rest of the stuff. So you see the band playing live and all that stuff. And it came out a much more exciting video, I thought.
Yeah.
Than what it was before. Yeah. The other one moved kind of slower. It just had a really artsy vibe to it. And I understand that's where how Bert's mind works. That's kind of like what he's into. But I felt personally that it just didn't really work with the track. You know what I mean?
Okay.
I thought the track was much more exciting. I thought the track was much more exciting than what it was.
Now, when you guys were filming that, remember we seen like they were throwing like dust or
fluid
powder. Were they throwing milk at you guys?
Yes. Well, there was they threw powder and milk. I don't know why, but it was for an effect.
Yeah, I guess milk would show up way better on film rather than water. I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they had these big old buckets of milk, and
I bet you threw all your clothes out after that day.
It would have been a mess.
I just washed them, but the guitar was what I was really concerned about. Yeah, but but my guitar tech was able to take it apart, clean it up, dry it off, and it was
so you didn't use like a
a dummy guitar. No.
Yeah, like a dummy.
No.
Wow.
We used the original one. And but it was cool because that was the last thing that we shot because you knew that was going to be, we were going to be all wet.
Yeah. That's cool. Awesome. Now, some of the songs on Digimortal actually ended up on some video games prior to Digimortal coming out. So we had the song Machine Debaser, Demolition Racer,
Contact.
Yeah, Full Metal Contact. They were on the game Demolition Racer, and I think what was the other one? There's also Will There Never Be an End, which became Memory Imprints. I think was it the demo version? The demo version ended up on the game of that, and it's sort of different. It's got like a different chorus.
Lyrics, yeah.
Yeah, it had a different chorus. It had totally different structure too.
Yeah.
I like how it turned out on the record better, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
These were songs that we just wrote really quick for video games, and then we figured those songs were never going to see the life of day. So we ended up taking parts of songs like Machine Debaser and stuff like that, certain songs, and use them for the chorus of Acres of Skin or the pre-chorus of What Will Become. And then, finishing Memory Imprints with that whole part, we finished it into a better song. We just thought those were like cool riffs that we didn't want to throw away.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. They're definitely like sick riffs that made into great songs.
Yeah.
And the label ended up releasing all those tracks later on.
Yeah.
On Hate Files or whatever it was.
Hate Files, yeah. And there's also this one here. There was also a digital connectivity sampler, which has got a lot more sort of stuff.
Other than just
it tells you where all the riffs came from, right?
Yeah. So the other song was Frequency, which you guys recorded after Digimortal that ended up on the video game.
Well, as you know, that the band had kind of broken up, but we were committed to do these two songs for a video game. One of them was Frequency, and the other one was
Terminate.
That's what it is. And so we had to go in there and record those songs, but Burton wasn't there because Burton had quit the band.
Yep.
So the producer ended up telling us that me, Raymond, and Christian would need to just record our parts, and that we need to leave the studio so that way Burton could come in and sing without us there.
Yeah. So
during those recordings, I had no idea what was going to be. I had no idea what the lyrics were going to be. I didn't even know the song was going to be called Terminate.
Gotcha.
Wow.
There you go.
So what did you think?
There were some things.
What did you think?
Say it again.
Once you heard the finished versions, what did you think? Did you have much of a reaction?
Yeah, I was just trying to figure out what he was meaning by the lyrics, and you could tell where he was saying like, now that the Sultan is free, I severed ties between man and machine. It's basically saying he quit.
Yeah, it was when I heard it, it was definitely a departure song, lyric wise.
Yeah. So that was in 2002 when those were recorded.
Yep. Yeah, that's true.
So that was the downfall of the band, the first downfall of the band at the time.
Yeah.
But early on in the production side of the record, when we first started to write songs for the record, and I'm going to be very straightforward, here, so that way people can get a picture of kind of like what happened. Sure, there's plenty of sides to the story, right? Um,
Yeah.
but my version was, I was ready to write the next record, Digimortal. The record company stepped in. We were just coming off a gold record from Obsolete, a gold record that in multiple countries. So the record company was like, okay, we need to kind of go more radio friendly on Digimortal, and we're going to send in these producers to come in and help you guys, guide you guys into writing these more commercial hits, right?
Ah.
And I was like, I don't think so. I don't know if that's a good idea, but the record company was trying to sell it. You know what I mean? You guys are going to be bigger. You guys are going to sell 1 million records. You're going to make money. You're going to be able to buy houses. You're going to be able to buy cars. You're going to be able to live like rock stars. So certain guys in the band bought into it. But I was like thinking, I think we need to go heavier, man. I think we need to go backwards. I think we need to go back to what we were doing in demanufacture. Well, I lost that battle. I lost that battle, right? So I decided, okay, I'm going to go along with it and try to make it the best as I can, right?
Yeah.
So I went along with it, and it was one of the first times also that we let Christian Oldie Wolbers contribute more to the album, right?
Yeah.
And Raymond was telling me, look, dude, don't be a dick. He's been in the band now for a few years. You got to let him write stuff. You got to let him in. Because before that, it used to be me and Raymond just writing songs.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
Me and Raymond just wrote the music, and we were fast and we were quick. And we were writing the song. We had a whole album. We would have whole albums, constructed within 3 to 4 months. Really quick, right?
Yeah.
But then he was kind of saying, look, you need to step back a little bit, Dino. You need to let Christian come in and bring some of his influence. And I was like, okay. So I lost that argument too. And I said, I agreed. And I said, okay, let's do it. So the record company started sending in producers, right? And we're talking like rock producers, like rock guys, right? To come in, listen to what we wrote and saying, take out this heavy riff, and play this more rock easy riff. I'm like, what the fuck? I'm like, why did I agree to this? Yeah. One guy came in, and within like 30 minutes, I said, nah, you got to go. I said, you got to go. Right.
Yeah.
And then
it's a hard thing to balance. I think you guys had the challenge of trying to stay true to the fan base that was there for the really heavy stuff while still trying to grow the fan base,
into a bigger sort of.
At that time as well, around 2001, with all that nu metal popularity rising, as spent like Slipknot having huge albums, Limp Bizkit and that, you can see why record labels were trying to
push the nu metal
on
onto
that train.
Because you guys weren't really, I wouldn't call Fear Factory nu metal ever, but during that 2000s era when it became so big, I guess the record company really wanted you guys to sort of go there as well because it was so massive and it was a global phenomenon at the time.
Correct. And that's exactly where the label's heads were at. They wanted a band like Fear Factory to capitalize on that and, sell a million plus records, right? I understand where they were coming from. I just didn't think that would be what our fan base wanted to hear at that time, right?
Yeah.
That's just my mentality. So as time went on, we had different producers come into the studio, and I was like, nah, no, gotta go. No. One guy came in and he heard our demos. He heard the demos, and he was like, why do you need me, man? This sounds great. And I'm like, exactly.
There you go.
I thought it sounded good. But then, the label sent another guy in, and the other guy was really cool. He goes, look, I don't want to, the guy straight out said, somebody must have warned him before he came into the studio. But the guy said, look, I don't want to change anything about you. I'm just going to help you, put the pieces together. I'm like, okay, that sounds fair enough.
So he was going to work with you.
Yes, exactly. Instead of him forcing, me to change guitar riffs and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Change the whole band. anyways, he came in and he heard the song "What Will Become," and he goes, "Well, if you take that part and you put it here, and you put that part and you switch them, there you go." And so we did it. We're like, "Wow, this works."
What's that? What was that? Was that the verse or the pre-chorus or the chorus or something? Or
It was the
which
pre-chorus was the chorus. So I believe it was Machine Debaser. Is that right? Boom, bam, boom, boom,
boom,
bam.
boom, bam, boom,
What song?
boom,
What video game song did that come from? Was it Machine
that was
Debaser?
yeah, Demolition Racer.
Demolition Racer. There you go. So that riff came from there, and that was actually the chorus.
Ah, so that was the original
So
chorus
you
of
put
What
that-
Will Become.
Yeah. So we said put that as the pre-chorus, and then go back to the opening riff.
Oh yeah,
and it
What
worked.
will
We're like,
become?
okay,
Oh yeah,
there you go.
because
It works.
that song's got more of a heavier, jumpier, heavy chorus rather than the typical singy sort of Fear Factory chorus.
Yeah.
That's right.
What will become? What will we be? Yeah, exactly. So, so he helped us put that together, and then Lynchpin, he was like, well, change. If you do this part and you cut this part in half, and you only do it two, it was the part leading to the chorus, right? We see no end to the dream. It only goes 2 bars. Normally we would do 4. So we had 4 bars there, and you cut it in half, and then boom, you go right into the chorus.
And it just rips straight into the chorus. Gotcha.
Yeah, and it worked out great. We're like, wow. So we were kind of like buying into this guy. Like, this guy this is cool. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
So he only helped us, like, I think the other one was Digimortal, and I think that was it. Those 3 songs. And I was like, okay, let's get to the heavy stuff. So I wrote Acres of Skin, No One, Damaged. I just started writing all these riffs, and I go, this is what it's going to be.
Yeah. Dead Man Walking.
Yes, all those songs. So I was just like writing all these heavy riffs and stuff, and then just started to pick up again. And then, Christian wanted to add a little bit more of his hip hop influence into the record, where you hear like DJ scratching onto the song Digimortal. He wrote the song Back the Fuck Up on the record. Yeah. So those were the influences that he brought onto that record. Some people like it, some people don't. You know what I mean? But the song Back the Fuck Up, that was during the height of Napster, and that song got leaked. So a lot of fans thought that we were going full new metal on the album, because people heard that track first.
And that was the first song I heard. I would have been a bit concerned. If it wasn't the first song I heard. But yeah.
Well, it got leaked into the Napster culture and back then. And so people were kind of prejudging the record before they even heard the first single.
Yeah, of course. Okay.
Right. And so that kind of like started a backlash before the record even came out. And then, of course, you throw in 9/11. The record didn't blow up as quickly as the label expected.
Yeah.
Still sold a lot of records. Don't get me wrong. I mean, still sold a lot of records.
2 months after that, you guys were touring in Australia after September 11. You guys were here in November that year on tour, which was a surprise.
We started a tour in October.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We started a tour in October. It was us, Machine Head, Chimera, El Nino, and I'm forgetting somebody else. I know there's one other band, but maybe, yeah. And we did a full U.S. tour right after that. Pretty much.
Wow.
Yeah, October 1st, we were right on tour. And I guess shortly after that, are you sure it was November that we came? To Australia?
Okay. Before the end of that year, because I just finished school that year.
Okay. So there was minimal touring on that record because of 9/11 and just the setbacks that the world pretty much stopped. So
everyone was a bit stunned at that point, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Weird time. Everything changed after 2001.
So anyway, there were certain songs I didn't want on the record. and then there was other songs that I wanted on the record, but the label really felt that certain of the more new metal tracks would be better on the album because they felt that it was what would help sell the record, you know.
Yeah.
Um,
So those,
but I
those,
preferred some of the B-side tracks to be on the actual
yeah,
album.
exactly. So like some of those songs, like you would have probably, and I probably agree as well, like have Back the Fuck Up as a bonus track instead of being like on the album, and have like Strain versus Resistance, honestly, is one of my favorite songs from Digimortal, and it's only on the Digipack. And I was like, man, this song, you know, like that start like, and then Strain, Strain, like that song is sick.
It's a vibe.
For me, it was more Dead Man Walking.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Riffing on
All of you here. Yeah. Definitely. Definitely, the album could have been a different type of album if those songs were arranged differently, I think. But yeah, as you said, the label wanted to go for that sort of commercial sound. So
and some of the guys in the band were into it as well too, you know.
Yeah.
It's okay. I mean, that's how
I think
it
the
works
album
out.
still is still a very good album. It's still like it grew on me over time. I think I was probably not as into it as I was when Obsolete dropped, but over the years, I think like it's got a great production job. I think the overall sound and like Raymond's drums sound amazing on that album.
Don't get me wrong, the record still rips. I mean, I still love a lot of the tracks on it. You know, if I had to do the record in its entirety for the 20-year anniversary of it, I'd be right out there doing it. You know, it's still something that I back. It's still something I love.
Yeah.
You know, I love those tracks.
Yeah, it's got the biggest song, Linchpin, on it.
We never got to play that song, unfortunately. It was just too difficult for Bert to sing, so we didn't play it. The notes were just really high.
Yeah, the chord.
See the end. It's just really high.
Yeah,
same thing on Digimortal. You know, one step closer. So high. Yeah. It's so high.
That is a high chord.
It's just too difficult to get every night.
To punch into those notes out of like heavy verses, it's not easy.
You know, it's one thing to do it on studio. You have a million tries to get it right, you know, to hit the note right. But when you're live, you got to do one. You know, you get one shot.
Yeah.
And those are just not easy songs.
And you've been singing heavy the whole day, and then you have to hit the Linchpin chorus. Man, that's a task.
There's a way to do it at a mid key, like we will never see the end. We will never be the end. You know, there's a way to do it, but it's just something that we couldn't pull off. So we never got to play those songs live.
Yeah. What is your favorite song? Absolute favorite song, including all of the bonus tracks. What is your favorite song from that album?
That's so hard. It's hard to pick one because I like them all. I love the majority of them. There's probably one track that I'm not in love with that's on there. But that's a hard one, man. It changes all the time. Every time you listen to the record, you know what I mean? It changes.
Are there any that when you played live, you could see that the crowd was going off the most for?
Oh, Linchpin. Would it be Linchpin?
Well, we haven't played Linchpin. We haven't played Linchpin. Linchpin hasn't been in the set since this record came out.
Yeah, what will become has probably played.
We played a lot, and we played Acres of Skin, What Will Become, and Damaged. Are the three tracks that we played. Yeah. And I have to say, I think Damage is probably my favorite to play live off that record.
That's one of my favorites off the album.
But at the same time, so does What Will Become, because it has a great intro. Everybody bounces to it.
Yeah.
You know. But I also
just
like
jump.
You know, it's got that cool, it's got that engine riff, you know.
Yeah.
That's what I love on Bite Block. I think Bite Block's probably the underrated gem from that
Bite
album.
Block's a great one, but it builds. You know, that one's a builder.
You just get a longer song. It's got a nice build up, but then it just busts out into huge Fear Factory riffs. So
yeah, that's
I
a great
think it's
riff.
got a
There's
really
lot of
strong
good stuff on
chorus on
there.
that too.
But even No One, you know,
One of my faves.
Wow.
Yeah, all those songs are killer. I love all those.
Yeah. Reese really shines on Digimortal. Like,
We didn't talk about that.
more so, I don't know, I won't say more so than Obsolete, but like there's like whole parts where it's just like that part, like wow, like he made all those sounds for all those little parts. And there was a lot of, like, as we've seen in Digital Connectivity, a lot of like sounds that he was like fully making himself for certain parts.
Yeah, there's that bit that goes over the main riff. Dun, 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 and there's like that sort of wow, wow, wow.
Oh yeah.
Well, you hear one cool riff on you hear Damage, what he was working on, Damage.
Yes,
You
that's the
know,
one. That's it.
You know, dun, 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 and then he goes, "Dully, wow."
Yep.
Yeah.
Very cool.
He's just writing riffs on the
little synth
on
stab
top.
riffs.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Great
So
stuff.
cool. You got
Great
very good
stuff.
language in that album. Gives it an identity, so you know, like, this is how that album's going to present from start to finish. Very cool.
Yeah, exactly. And so, you know, that's how the record was put together. And then the artwork was originally done by Dave McKean, but for some reason we weren't really kept vibing what he was coming up with, and so Bert recommended this other artist who did the final cover, and Tom, I don't remember his last name, but it was Tom something.
German, I think it was.
Tom German or something like that.
Yeah, from T42 Design. Yep.
Yeah.
Actually, we're having a look at the Digimortal artwork after this segment.
Yep.
We're going to break it down, so stick around, everyone, for that.
Details.
Well, I'll tell you a little bit about that. What we were trying to go for was the shape of man, right?
Mhm.
But that's supposed to be on a computer chip.
Yeah.
So that's supposed to represent your memories, and that computer chip just goes into like the movie Upgrade.
Yep.
Put that thing in there, and then boom.
Well, we do see the computer chips after we take away all the layers. You can see all the computer chips on there. So, yeah, it's good.
Exactly.
We'll have a good look at that.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I think that's about it. Thank you, Dino, for catching up for 20 years of Digimortal, man. It's been good.
Awesome to have you back on the show.
Yeah. Thanks for coming back on the show, and we'll definitely have to get you back on the show for all the new stuff that's coming up with the new album and stuff like that. So we'll chat to you again. And
Well, I
until
hope he gave you guys some interesting insights.
Absolutely.
On, the creation of the record.
Yeah.
Great to have the chat.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Thank
by the
you
way,
very much.
Reese Fulber ended up producing the record, and Mike Plotnikoff ended up mixing the record. So just so people know that.
There you go.
It's Mike Plotnikoff's son is the voice on the end of what will become?
It's his daughter.
Us.
She's
daughter.
Us. It's his daughter. Yeah.
There you go.
At the time, she was probably like 5 or 6.
Yeah.
And now she's like, what is she, like 28, something like that, 20 something. And she's already been married. She's already married and has her own kids and stuff like that.
Unbelievable.
So yeah.
Time just flies, man. That just shows how fast time flies.
Exactly.
Awesome. All right, Dino, thank you very much, man. We'll catch you again next time.
Thank you very much, man. Have a good one. I'll see you guys later.
See ya.
Later.
Yeah, so there we go. A little bit of an interview with Dino.
Yeah, some deep insights into Digimortal's history and
into the recording process and
everything.
certain songs and all that sort of stuff. So that was pretty cool.
Hopefully you learnt something new. I know I did.
There you go. So right now we're going to jump in and have a look at the Digimortal album art, and we're going to break it down for you layer by layer in Photoshop and show you exactly how the artwork was made and constructed. So here we go, check that out. Alright guys, welcome to the Digimortal artwork breakdown layer by layer, C-Bomb.
Here we are.
There it is, have a look at it in all of its glory. Looks good, doesn't it?
Yeah,
Nice.
so that's a full resolution version of the artwork we've gotten access to here.
Yep. So this is a bit of an exclusive here. So what we're going to do is we're going to come over on this side here, so you can see we've got all the layers of the artwork here, and we're going to go through and show you just how it was built. Now, the team behind this artwork is T42 Design. So that the letter T, the number 4, and then the number 2 design. And
42.
That's Tom German.
Or German.
That's how we're going to say it.
Yeah.
So Tom and also Toby Yu. Now, these guys designed this artwork back in 2001.
Apparently they had the distinction of doing the first Slipknot album cover.
Yeah, so these guys, they did the first Slipknot album. Now, we can have a look at their website here. So, T42 Design. So, Tom and Toby. And you can just see there, this is a little bit about them and the stuff that they've designed. So, their art direction and design for branding, packaging, print, web, etc., etc. Now, looks like they've racked up a fair bit of work, C-Bomb, over the years. Have a look at all the people that they've worked
Must have
for.
got a few gigs out of Roadrunner to get the ball rolling.
Yeah, absolutely.
Including Fear Factory.
Yep, so they definitely did the Fear Factory one. So here we go. We have a look at all of the stuff. Oh, they're on CKY.
Yeah.
Wow, Johnny Cash. Bloody hell, there's a lot
the
here.
Fear Factory
There's
one.
the Digimortal one there, CKY. Him. Bloody hell, unreal. Have a look at
Machine
it.
Head. Okay.
Oh, yep. So there you go.
Turning red.
Anyway, so let's break it down. Now, what I'm going to do is we're going to pretty much turn off all of these layers. So we're just left with the base artwork. So as you can see, it's got kind of like a pixelated blue sort of image here, C-Bomb.
Yeah, something's quite zoomed into the point of being obviously pixelated.
Yep.
But I don't think we see a lot of this in the final art other than its color presence.
Yeah, kind
basically.
of. Whatever sort of blending modes that they've got on this, it sort of just gives the album its color, I guess.
Yep.
So what I want to sort of start with here is the chip. Now, so this is the original chip that they sort of... Now, I sort of think that this is what gave them their starting point. Because as you can see, it's like you've got the squareness, you've got the shape in the middle here. So this is probably what gave the inspiration and sort of gave, you've got all the soldered sort of circuitry on the side here, which then goes in, and you've got all these things, and that's basically like well, if you were us, you'd know that it's Digimortal if you only seen this.
That's right.
So, and what they actually did was they actually took a second layer of this. So we'll just turn on that second layer, and we'll turn off the first layer. So you can now see that there's an upside down version of the same thing overlaid. So now you've got the two layers here, which are overlaid on each other. So, and if we add in the blue background, you can sort of see how they've managed to achieve that blue.
A lot of the circuit boards actually absorbed into the colors until just the details are sort of coming up. The line work.
Yeah, absolutely. It's very sort of the blending layer they've got on that. It's only just
showing it through.
It's very subtle. So after we've got the chips, so we'll turn on the other one as well, so you can see that, and you can see that they've really lined up. They've really lined it up when they've flipped
Balance the line work out.
So then we've got these side chips. Now, these side chips here, you can see that they've placed them in to sort of fill that gap there.
Create some interest in the artwork.
Yeah, yeah. So there we go. It's sort of starting to take shape now with that blue over the top. Then we've got a layer. So this is like a... So let's take off these and we'll show you just that layer sort of on its own there.
Yeah.
So you can see this is how they've sort of started to build the image of the you know, of man in
The
there.
man circuit.
Yeah, connected up there. And then we've also got...
Yeah, there's a few layers of the circuit which I think really just compile in to create the depth so that it looks like it's made out of something metallic and 3D.
Yeah, and it's sort of like, as you can see with this layer here, it's really made that base image pop a lot more, and it's, you know, there's texture and shading on
Creating
that.
more depth.
Yeah, exactly. So let's put the chip back in, and we'll put the 2 chips over the top back in.
Still quite a mess without that blue color.
Yeah, it is.
To bring it together.
It is. There's like, you can see that a lot of work went into making this cover.
Yeah.
So when we add the background layer on, it's still only sort of just getting started, I guess.
Yep, these are really just depth layers.
Yep. So this one's called... What's this one called? Blur White. So then we add... there we go. There we go. So you can see all the depth of stuff behind that layer. Then they've actually put that layer on, so I guess it just makes it pop even more.
Yeah, that brings up the bold color.
Yep. So then we'll click on the next layer.
So that's a bit more of a balancing, just to balance out some of the colors.
So that's off. And then that's on. So this is called the pixel texture. So it looks like...
Seems to add in a bit towards the bottom where the Digimortal text is going to go.
Yeah. So let's just... I just want to
isolate it.
isolate it and have a bit of a look and see what it does. So it's almost like a ghosting sort of layer.
Just a blur and shadow.
Isn't it?
Yep.
Sort of just doing its own thing there. And then we've got... so then we've got like a blurred layer with the fear factor out the top, sort of blurring up and down. And then the same with the Digimortal there.
Motion blur.
Yeah, got some motion blur there. So let's build up these layers again. Turn those back on. We've got the chips on the side. And then we've got the background layer and then the chip copy. So there we go. It's starting to really take shape now. And then we've got the Digimortal text on the bottom. There we go, yeah. And then we've got some numbers.
FFO1, FFO2, FFO3, FFO4.
Yeah.
I assumed that was like the album numbers, so this is the fourth main studio album.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good little point. Didn't think of that. And then we've got, of course, the Fear Factory up the top layer, which turns that on. Now, as you can see, sort of around the outside, we've got a bit of an opaque sort of part here that's not actually sort of like fully covered. But when we turn the frame on, there
you see the complete.
There you can see that the album cover. That's it. I mean, that
is it.
That's the square border.
Show them without the blue on.
So without the blue background layer,
whoa,
this is what we've got.
Such a key piece to the whole final product.
It really is, isn't it? So the blueness of the background there, it really just... I mean, you can't even tell that the background layer is a pixelated layer. Like...
No, it's just imbuing color into everything.
Like, remember, if we turn it all off,
yep,
it looks pixelated. But when we turn everything back on, you can't even really notice that.
That's all right.
So what we'll do now... So there you go. The
inner working.
The inner workings of the Digimortal.
In the guts of it.
Yep. Yep. You can see exactly how it was created. 20 years later, with all the little pieces that they put in there. I'm just going through and turning them all off now. There we go. With the chip copy.
Show everything with it on except the circuit board, the 2 circuit board layers.
So we'll show.
Yeah.
I just sort of want to go backwards now
Yeah.
and show the different layers. Ah, there we go. Because it's a bit of a different experience seeing it done. So this layer here has got a bit of blue in it too, C-Bomb. So if we turn those off, we can see that it's got a bit of its own sort of blue hue to it, I guess. There we go. Yeah. So we go through and we'll turn all that back on. Yeah, so that's added a lot more blue to it.
Yep.
And then the chips on the side. And then the chip copy. So that layer really adds a lot before you then put on the blue.
Yep.
So what did you want to do?
Show everything. Just turn off the 2 chip layers. So
The chip layers, yeah. So that's the chip and that's the chip copy.
So pretty good view of the.
There you go. That's like a
The
real
design part of it, what they've designed
yeah, exactly.
from scratch.
You can really see like the pixelations now showing up on the artwork. So if you then take out the side chips, I mean that's sort of basic, the basic design of it.
Yeah,
And then
when
you add all the chips back in,
you're
there you go.
fully digitized.
There you go. I just want to turn off these layers just to sort of have a look at it. Have a look at it without the man on the front. So there you go. Look at that. We'll turn those back on. Give you a bit of a look at the artwork. There we go. And that is about it.
Hey, what's up? It's Tony Campos. You're watching New Breed TV.
And welcome back. Hope you enjoyed looking at the Digimortal artwork in detail.
Oh, how good was it?
No idea it would sort of look like what it did under all the layers.
Yeah. So that chip layer is real hard to see, but when you strip back all those layers, you can really see like where the idea probably came from, just from that chip itself to then build on and create the rest of the artwork.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah, it was good. So that's it for this episode of New Breed TV. Thank you very much for watching. Make sure you like,
share,
and subscribe because we've got some more cool episodes coming up. We're going to be looking at the new album when that comes out. By the time this video is out, the new single should be out, so we're going to cover that as well. And also stay tuned because we're currently doing an episode where it's in the works at the moment, which talks about Fear Factory in video games. So we're going to cover every video game that Fear Factory have been in, just like we did with the movies and TV shows episode, C-Bomb.
Big Max style deep dive.
Yeah, and this one has been a big deep dive too, doing the video game one. So it's been coming for a little while, this one. That's because the research has been extensive. I don't want to miss a single...
No shortcuts.
I don't want to miss a single video game when it comes to this. So, yeah, it's going to be a long episode and it's going to be thorough. So don't you worry about that. So, C-Bomb, I think that's about it for this episode.
Yep. And until the next one.
Long live Fear Factory.
Short live Troll Chris.
One step closer to my grave. Fucking hell, before you know it, it'll be another 20 years.
I'm gonna say that.